Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to the most innovative hunting gear and services. Here are your hosts, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, and as always, I'm joined by Richard. What's going on, senor?
Oh, not a mucho, my friend. Not a mucho. It's cold. It's cold and it's rainy outside, so feels like typical January, which is nice. Yeah, no kidding.
Well, as you know, I was in Mississippi the last several days. Got back from Oxford today, and it was cold.
Really?
The highs last 2 days were low 30s.
Oh wow!
It was low 20s at night there, and since it hadn't been really that cold here yet, it was like a kind of a shock to my system. And here it is January, and those temperatures are a shock to my system. But,
well, it's because the global warming getting hotter every year.
No, it's climate change.
Oh, climate change, and the polar bears are shaving now, and
That's right. But anyway, it was good to feel, and but then I look at the weekend coming up. It's highs in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
Or the upper 60s.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Well, yeah, no, we talk about allergies and all that kind of stuff, but God, at least we've had some rain, man. That is crucial. It's funny. I was looking at. I've got an app that fuels my obsession with rainfall amounts, and I was looking at last year's totals, and already for January of 2019, we were already like on a great track for some rain, and I guess I'm sorry, it was fall of, so I guess that would have been 2018, right? Carry the one,
last year, no,
yeah. So
last year, not necessarily immediate last year, but
yes,
the full winter of last year.
Yes. And we had so much rain, and of course this fall we had nothing. It's just amazing the difference a year can make. But it's good to see. For sure.
Interesting to see how that affects, growth in the spring and
everything
everything else after that.
I agree.
And further down the line, what is the acorn crop going to be like next year?
God. Oh my God! Please go away. Yeah, no, it really will be. And I know the pecans are real cyclical like that. To the point where you'll have, and I'm not a pecanologist, of course, but the 1 year you'll have them, next year you won't have them. Whereas I think with like the acorns, I think you pretty much get them all year long, but it's to what degree do you get them to? And of course, this year was, we've talked about it multiple times. It's nuts. You got squirrels who are like, what? I'm not even going to bury nuts this year because just get my wife, Sally, and we'll just go out and collect them. They're right there on their front porch. Let's be lazy. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, so in this one, I think we wanted to talk about some listener feedback we've gotten over the last week or so, right?
Yes. No, it's been fantastic. And again, thanks to everybody who emails us and social medias us, which I don't think that's a verb, but for today it will be. So we really appreciate it. Again, we are working diligently on trying to get our search engine piece up and running. We're trying to reach out to feed stores as we speak. Getting them signed up so that you all as hunters, when you're going to your property, whether it's the spring or the summer, the fall, whatever it may be, you're going to be able to find the feed and the gear you need, en route. Supporting small town Texas. That is near and dear to our heart, and that's kind of why we started this whole thing. Feed Bandit will find your feed from the very beginning. So, but what's
important to say though that about that search is that it is out there, right? And we have a bunch of feed stores, available in the search that will come up when you search for a particular area or a route, a distance, to from route. We're working on getting a lot of them signed up to get more detail on there for you. So,
now that's a very good point. Now you're exactly right. Yeah. So our one of our fans sent us an email earlier in the week, and the gentleman was asking. He's from Northeast Texas, and he was asking, Hey guys, where can you find cottonseed in Northeast Texas? He gave us a zip code, and he said, the major cities: Texarkana, Sulphur Springs, and really everywhere in between. So this is just a great question, and I thanked him abundantly for sending it to us. Cottonseed is becoming just so popular, but it's still kind of hard to find. A lot of the feed stores are starting to carry it now in bags. A lot of folks are out there, getting it with trailers. And I actually want to talk about that after I'm done reading these off. But we did a little homework, and we called some feed stores in Texarkana, Sulphur Springs, Paris, Texas, and Marshall, and actually Commerce. And so here's kind of the results we got. So in Texarkana, Miller Bowie Supply, they carry cottonseed hulls, which is about $9.75 for a 40-pound bag. Again, that's cottonseed hulls are what you want to look for, and basically what that is, that's the seed. Okay, a lot of places will sell cottonseed cubes. That's typically more for for your cattle and things of that nature. We have attempted to feed our not so picky deer the cottonseed cubes, and they did not touch it. But that cottonseed hulls, they'll destroy it. Looks like Paris, Texas, and the Valley Mill. Valley Feed Mill in Paris has got cottonseed hulls for $2.40 per ton. So again, that looks like that will be an opportunity to dump in the back of a pickup truck, or if you've got a trailer, maybe to dump it there. And again, we'll cover that in a minute. In Marshall, Texas, Dillard's Feed House has got hulls, $15.50 for a 45-pound bag. That's a pretty good price. So if you're in the Marshall area, that would be a good one to look for. In Commerce, which I spent 2 summers out there at a volunteer football camp. Almost died. Didn't want to go back, but hey.
Is that volunteer in quotes?
Oh, big time. I mean, like the biggest air quotes. I mean, Catholic high school football get away with murder, and they almost killed me. So hey, but it was worth it though. So in Commerce, Fix and Feed off of Magnum Street, they've got cottonseed hulls at $15.79 for a 50-pound bag. So again, those are some of your cottonseed providers in Northeast Texas. So we are very, very grateful for that gentleman for reaching out for us. You guys have any questions or anything like that you want us to go find, please shoot us an email, social media us, because again, this is what we're doing. We're trying to talk to these folks. As far as cottonseed is concerned, it's really just been the last couple years where they've started to put it in a bag. Traditionally, you just go to the gym, geez, I've never been there before. Go to the gin, all right, and you just get a snow shovel and they just load it all up. And a lot of guys will still do that. Cottonseed is not like a grain, where it gets mealy bugs and rot and all that kind of stuff. So obviously it needs to be put in a dry area, but it's a little bit more forgiving as far as storage is concerned. So a couple ideas I've heard from some dudes, from fellows doing that have worked really well. I've seen a couple of guys that'll get a typical 16-foot trailer, will put a tarp down, maybe another tarp down, and then they'll put plywood kind of on the sides. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually fill that thing up, and then they'll put a tarp over the top. And then they'll park that in the in some sort of storage at their lease, and it's perfect. Again, just keeping it out of the elements. And then when they want to go fill up their feeders, they just get a snow shovel, back their pickup up, and just shovel it in there. Either that, or you can use those cattle lick tub buckets, which we use for gut. Well, God, we use them for everything. We at Rancho Bandito use them for corn, for cottonseed storage. So. Man, they work great. In fact, I think one cattle lick tub bucket and a half will fill up a one of those wire baskets that we kind of feed the cottonseed out of. So just to let you know, but we've seen other folks that have put them, back in the day when they had those old, well, I guess they still got them, chest deep freezes. We've seen people put them in there. Hell, we've seen people just throw a tarp down on the ground and just throw it underneath there. So, again, cottonseed, man, it is good stuff. It's still pretty darn cheap, getting easier to find. So if you want to grow big deer and offer a nice supplement, man, give cottonseed a try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would just add jumping back a little bit to how you're reading off the prices and what's available at some of those stores. That's the kind of information that we're looking to provide for all you guys out there via the search. Yep. so that you don't have to do any of that type of calling. Right. You can just go on to feedbandit.com and then find it out yourself pretty easily, pretty quickly. Yep. So.
And it's just an awesome thing because, again, we know you as a hunter, you're just like us. Okay. You don't have all the time in the world to be searching around for this kind of stuff. The idea behind our hunter search is to make it convenient for you, the hunter. But then again, to bring some of those dollars that would typically go to a big box store, bring them back to the country, bring them back to the original place people used to buy feed. And it's not an easy task, but it's one that we're going to take on, and we're excited to do it. And it starts with y'all.
That's right.
Good stuff. Right.
Yeah. Well, all right. You want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the end of duck season?
God, speaking of shifting gears, I'd be curious how many listeners' children who are can drive a vehicle can actually drive a manual vehicle.
Ooh, that's that is a good question.
Another great question.
Do they even make them anymore? I mean, I guess they do. Like,
our good buddy much. Matt. No, I know they don't make them really in the pickups anymore, which is
I always make it a point if I'm walking through a parking lot or something and I see new Jeeps, I always kind of glance in there to see what it is, and
yes.
99 out of 100 times they're automatic.
God, isn't that sad?
It's sad. So it's interesting that you say that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, all right, we will not shift gears, but we'll throw it and drive over the next topic, huh?
Overdrive.
Yeah, overdrive. There you go.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Hey, folks, do you want to level up your hunting game and gear? If so, join the hunt to get killer hunting tips and tricks that'll help you out in the field. Text the word BANDIT to 345-345 right now. And when you do, you'll even get access to some exclusive deals on the hunting gear and services we discuss right here on this podcast. Again, text the word BANDIT to 345-345 right now and join the hunt.
Yeah, so, man, oh man, for all the complaining I did, really this time last year. Well, actually late November through this time last year, about duck season. And, I have been, it's been made up for. I have just slaughtered the ducks. I'm up to 35 now, which is typically I'm in the 18, 19 range, and I'm pretty happy with that, right? But man, oh man, this season has just been incredible. And again, it's so different from last season. Last season, we had so much real estate. We have water everywhere because of the monsoons we got in October and in early November. But the problem is we really didn't have a lot of cool weather. So the ducks were, sitting their fat, furry butts up there up north and pigging out in the grain fields and the wheat fields. And, we didn't get a lot down here. I'd be curious to see the actual numbers. But this year, we've had some colder weather. We don't have a lot of the stock tanks and the lakes are low, so real estate's kind of at a premium. So, man, oh man, that just equals a lot of good times. So, but the thing I think I want to talk about right now, and I think it's time sensitive. A lot of places around the country, I think duck season's already closed. Here in the state of Texas, in the northern zone, it's going to close the last weekend of January. So we're going to try to get this aired before the last week of January. So for those listeners who are not familiar with kind of late season duck hunting, wanted to give you all some tips on how to hopefully to scrap out a couple of birds before the season takes a rest. So, first and foremost is, let's talk about your decoys. Early in the season is decoys this, decoys that. Put them out there. Get a mojo out there, lots of motion, all that kind of stuff, right? This time of year, the ducks have been shot at. They're starting to get an education, and they're really, really wary of decoy spreads. Okay, so and apparently they're really wary about motion decoys as well. So if you've got the spinners and all that kind of stuff, kind of the general rule of thumb is put them up. I've even heard of putting them up even when you don't have motion in your decoys, which typically I don't. And as far as your on top of the water decoys, really limit them. Typically I put out about a dozen and a half decoys with a spinner, and then that's kind of my my standard set, if you will. But now that late season is here, I typically will only put out two or maybe four decoys at the most. And I'll spread them apart, but still kind of make them to where, you can have some birds land in there. So again, not a lot of motion decoys. That's what they say. Okay. And it's, I can't tell you if it's bit me in the butt by putting one out there or not, because I just don't really remember, but that's what they say. And you know who they are.
Them.
Oh yeah. Those guys.
Guys.
Yeah. The other thing that they're really, really sensitive to is calling. A lot of fellows are out there be blowing that comeback call, and rah, 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 when those ducks are leaving. Well, guess what? Early in the season, be like, boy, Miles, we ought to go give that tank another look. Listen, that guy's happy as hell down there. Nowadays, Miles and his shot up buddies are saying, I'm out of here.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, because that duck is the loudest damn thing I have ever heard. There is no way that's real. So I typically, this time of year, I'll put my call lanyard on just because I'm cool like that. But I will typically only use my teal whistle. So, for those of you who are not familiar with duck hunting and duck calls, a whistle is one of the greatest calls you can use, because it's really tough to screw it up. So there's a lot of ducks that whistle. Mallards actually have a little bit of a whistle. Pintails, gabwalls, and especially teal, green-winged teal, make a beep, beep. So, you should have heard me last week, and I was a peeping fool. I'm not going to get in trouble for saying that, but I was peeping my teal whistle, not a peeping Tom. So, I was peeping that thing, and they were peeping back at me, and it was great, because I'd get teal in my, and I love teal. I'd have teal come in my set, and they were in trouble. So limit the calling, stick with the whistle if you have got it. I'd say kind of my third and final tip of late season is really make sure you're hidden well. Again, you've got some ducks that, if you hadn't had a lot of cold fronts and they're just kind of stagnant hanging out in the area, chances are they may have been shot at before. So it would pay dividends to be nice and camouflaged. Really, just smart things. Don't look up at them if they're circling, so they can see your face. Just be real smart. So, I hope you all can use those little tips. It's something that I use, and remember, I used them last weekend. Going to use them this weekend as well. So
how did you end up doing last week?
So this weekend, or this past weekend, I did really well. I ended up shooting 2 green-winged drakes, okay, teal, again with my little peeper. I ended up shooting a widgeon drake, which is one of my favorite ducks, and they whistle. They go, which is just really, really cool, because when they land on the wire before he ended his life, he serenaded me a little bit and then realized, no. Yeah. Whereas they got a big blonde idiot dog running after that thing too. So, and then, I had another teal, and I don't know. He's not with us anymore. I can tell you that much, but I watched him fly and fly off and kind of crest the horizon. So it was, I guess he wasn't too hit bad, but I thought he was. So, The coolest thing about this past Saturday is, I checked the forecast and it was God, it was gonna be like in the early morning. It was gonna be like 65, and it was muggy. It was miserable. Mm-hmm. So I'm out there in my waders. I'm in a t-shirt and I've got my shell of my duck jacket on, because I just can't wear the other thing. Mm-hmm. But they're talking about, a cold front coming in at like 6:30 in the morning. Okay, so this is 6 when I get up. And I'm out there, and of course my decoys are agnet. I mean, they're just sitting there, and again, that's not good, But all of a sudden, of course, it's real quiet out there, and I got my headphones on, my Walker's game ears, and I can hear the trees rustling, out in front of me, to the north of me. And then all of a sudden, here comes that breeze, and then it gets stronger and stronger, and finally, I've got a good sustained 10 to 15 mile an hour wind that's just blowing those decoys around everywhere. So,
Did you get cold?
I actually didn't. No, but I had drank a lot the night before, and so I had a lot of
residual warmth in your
yeah, it's miserable. And I'm like, okay, well, ducks are done. Let's get back to the house. Quick, yeah. But it was fun. Again, for all the complaining I did, and it's all documented because of this thing. It was a great dove season. It was the best duck season I ever had.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
It really is. It really is. Oh, something else I wanted to mention. I just thought about it right before sunup. So I couldn't. There's a bunch of teal. I think there's a bunch of teal flying around. The smallest of the puddle ducks. I heard what suspiciously sounded like a blue wing teal. So here's a little duck history for you. The blue wing. So there's 3 species of teal in North America: the blue wing, the green wing, and the cinnamon teal. The blue wing teal are the first teal that migrate south. And I mean, if a north wind even rips a small little popper, okay, they're out of there. I mean, they are out of there. Like, oh God, we got to get going, and they make it all the way into Mexico and South America. So, what's so cool about that is that, that's why in late August, early September, and then throughout September, you see a lot of teal in Texas. And that's why we have that early teal season. Now, what's kind of crazy is that, during the typical duck season, you're not seeing any. You don't see any until late January, when they sometimes start making their way back up. So I was thumbing through some pictures, and a couple of years ago, late January, I killed a blue-winged teal, which I don't know if I completely comprehended that, because I would still be thinking about it if I knew the significance. Right. But I know a few guys on the Texas coast have shot some, and I swear to you, I heard one, which was kind of cool. So,
well, maybe this weekend.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah,
he'll come back.
That's a real good point. Yeah. Well, which is kind of funny to me. I mean, clearly the teal don't read the Farmer's Almanac, because, right, if I'm a teal, I ain't going back to Canada in January. Let's just face it, it's not going to happen. It's cold as shit up there. Sorry. It's cold to spit up there,
Spit, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners will forgive us.
Probably.
Number one, I don't know how to put the peep on there.
Yeah. So, yeah. You know how to put the teal whistle in there?
That's right. I should. Actually, that's what I should find one of that. Or you need to do it, and then I'll try to move it over and put it in there.
Yes. That's awesome. It's funny because, both you and I, especially me, I don't have a very tame mouth at all. And that's probably numero uno on this entire podcast.
I know. We have been very disciplined.
Yeah,
which is unbelievable.
762 episodes.
I know. Yeah, and if you put it all together, it's like 18 years worth of recordings. I mean, it's like,
who'd have thunk it?
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
I'm sure we shall have to remedy that this week.
Yeah. Prima noctra. That's great. That's a great line. Sad movie, but that's a great line. Braveheart, by the way. Yeah. So, another little funny for you. I don't know if you saw the picture, but our good buddy that we talk about frequently on Illini, he on the last podcast you had said jalapeno, and like, what the hell is a jalapeno? because that's what he says. Well, I guess this was yesterday. He sends me a picture of a jalapeno. And with those, that I'm dying laughing emoji. And I'm like, yeah, don't get it. He's like, I'm listening to you two knuckleheads. Like, oh, I totally remember it now.
Thanks for your continuing patronage there.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Oh, and by the way, Line, I'm going to forget to text you when we're done. Why don't you, I think his boss is a big hunter.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get your boss to listen to us, buddy.
Yes, absolutely. And if you may not know who we were talking about, but thank you for listening.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember our goal here is to be relatively informative and
somewhat entertaining.
Very entertaining. Yeah, try to at least.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, you got anything else to talk about this week?
Well, I think we got to tell them about our new little idea that we're going to try to do.
Go for it.
Oh boy, me? Okay. So yeah, all right. So I'll take a stab at her. So we do get emails and contacts from people, which we love, because it's good stuff and people are listening. We really appreciate it. So, but our goal again, if we do this for y'all, and we really we want to take it up a notch, take it up a couple of notches, and try to get y'all more involved with this.
We want to level up our game.
Yes, level up our game, right? So what we are going to be looking for in the next couple of weeks is basically a way for you all to call in if you wanted to, and to be able to ask us questions and leave us voicemails. Which, God, I can only imagine how many voicemails from our friends we're going to get with all kinds of face voices, and we'll hear lots of, "This is Horace McGafkin from Scotland, Texas," and I just know it. And if they're funny enough, we actually play some on the air. But yeah, we want to hear your questions from your kiddos or whoever. So
yeah, we'll do our best to answer them. And leave commentary or
how
we always say, let us know what you think, or let us know if you do something differently, or if you have a better recipe, or whatever it is we're talking about. I mean, that's we're serious when we want to hear from you.
Yeah, please. And we are, and we really appreciate it. So it's cool.
So we want to try to make it easy for you.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be announcing what that number is soon, and that way you guys can call in and let us know. We'll have a little fun.
Do they still make 1-900s?
Well, weren't those the ones that you had to pay for? Like
yes,
like the late night ones.
The late night psychic ones, right?
Well, psychic and other,
the late night ones where you could call somebody and he or she was trying to be a real estate agent or a nurse or something of that nature.
Yes, with a little deep breathing, but
Yes. God have mercy. Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So stay tuned. We're gonna level up our game with that call-in number. So
for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, what else? Did I miss something else, or is that are we good there?
We're going hunting this weekend.
Yes. So.
Keyword, right?
That is a keyword. I'm getting out of here.
Do you need a map? Do you remember how to get there?
Wah.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, I don't speak French. It'll be good. Yeah,
yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
And I don't know if you could. Have you been hearing my son there, Jeb, in the background?
I have not.
Okay, good, because I feel like I have been. So I don't know if he's been annoying the listeners.
No. Hurricane Jeb? No
Hurricane Jeb. Well, Hurricane Jeb, it's time for his bedtime, so
yes.
I think it's a good time to wrap this one up.
Well, it's God. I mean, can you imagine? Talk about the recipe for disaster. Hurricane Jeb combined with new baby.
Oh,
woo! It's a tsunami of extremes. So.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
Yeah,
March 2nd. Yep.
Oh yeah, great day.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right, folks. Thank you, Corn Bandit, for your wise wisdom. Thank you for everyone out there listening. Hope you tune in to the next one. And until then,
Have a good one.
And support your local feed store.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. Just a reminder to text the word BANDIT to 345-345. And when you do, you'll join our email list where we'll send killer deals on innovative hunting products and services, along with entertaining tips and tricks straight to your inbox. You don't want to miss out, so again, text the word BANDIT to 345-345, and we look forward to seeing you on the hunt. Until next time, have a good one, and remember to support your local feed store.